Hello and welcome to another episode of 7 Days Makes 1 Week. I'm Freddie P, back in the place to be. Immediately to my right is Big Dan Z. I should say Z, but it doesn't really rhyme. Oh, if we weren't recording, I'd have been like, shit. And we're recording. We're still recording. Welcome. Zach's also behind the cameras, man in the ones and twos. New year, same me. Degenerate. What about you guys?
Yeah, still a failure.
Yeah, a lot of people struggle with being the disappointment of the family, but here I am.
I wear that badge with honor.
Yeah, here I am. That's like one of my favorite memes. It's like, it's a picture of Jaden Smith, but it's like, when you're at the party and your mom's sitting there telling all her friends and loved ones the irresponsible shit that you do, and you're just sitting there and he's just like, our GoPro died.
No, it didn't.
I don't know what that was.
The red light went off of it.
It says the SD card's full, even though it said there was 3 hours and 20 minutes.
All right, recording in fucking 3D today, boys. What a day to have two cameras.
Give it a shot.
What a day to launch with two cameras. All right, 3D camera, you're fucking up, buddy. You were on the bench, now you're in the starting lineup, bro. You're the fucking guy now.
Yeah, 360 cam. Let's see how this turns out. See if it's gonna kill our editor's laptop when he plugs in the SD card.
Some of that GoPro might blow up in his hands. Hey, if that thing blows up, I'm gonna need some money back whenever you get hands.
Yeah, that's all good. That's all good. We can trade for the bar stool and the keys that you guys broke.
Whoa, I'll take responsibility for the bar stool. The keys weren't my fault.
Well, that guy doesn't come around anymore, so it falls onto yours.
So there was one day I was walking up and Nico tried to throw me his keys and he underthrew me by like 4 feet. So I tried to reach out as much as I could. And I barely got my fingers onto them right when they hit the pavement. Yeah, the one key fob broke. Still works though, right? Oh, and I ain't replacing shit.
No, the key fob does not work.
Oh, okay then.
You remember it came in and it was in 2 pieces?
I do.
So what do you think?
I was trying to put it back together.
I hot glued it back together and stuck it in between some books, and it's. Okay, I'm gonna try to empty out this memory card real quick, but keep going. We can use that.
Yeah, of course.
No problem. Do you guys have a good week? Good New Year's Eve? Any of that kind of stuff? You guys do anything?
I made it into the new year. That's a good thing.
Another day above ground?
My buddy's neighbor died on New Year's Eve.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Our buddy, yeah. Same guy, yeah.
Exactly.
I think that was whoever he knows out in Hinton, though. I think
he
was
his grandparents' neighbor, for sure. But still, I mean...
Yeah, it sucks,
shit,
man.
You want to wake up to New Year's with your neighbor dying? No, thanks.
Yeah, it sucks.
Or I'll make it to the new year and not die.
Yeah, that's definitely more ideal. What about you, Zach? You get up to anything? Tie a couple on or what?
I actually had a pretty chill night until about 1:30, and my friend was doing bottle service at Union, and she called me at like 1:30 and asked if she could come over, so she showed up with a bottle of some tequila, so we had some of that. Went to bed at like 4, and then I remember texting you guys about 8 and being like, I'm pretty hungover. We drank a whole bottle of tequila in about 2 hours, so...
That'll do it.
But it was still a fun night. It was productive in certain ways and unproductive in others.
I'm sure it was productive. Bottle service girl giving you a shout at 1:30 in the morning, coming to your spot with a bottle. I'm sure that was productive.
Well, it wasn't a bottle from the bar. That would have been way cooler. But no, I'm pretty sure she stopped on the way because it was like $14 tequila. So hence the
she works at Union Hall. That sounds about $14 tequila worthy.
$14 tequila from behind the bar. Yeah, if you don't ask, you get the bottom of the show.
Oh, fuck. I was up till 4 a.m. on New Year's too, but just gaming. I didn't want to go anywhere. Got a couple dubs in Warzone, so...
I went over to one of my buddy's house, just small get-together, nothing too big, just chill.
Yeah, how's that going? How's he doing?
Do you know where I went?
Cheers.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I didn't know that you knew where I went. Yeah, no, he's good. He's doing real estate now.
Yeah, how's that? How's the real estate business?
It always starts slow, right? He's got to learn a lot of shit, and he's, underneath somebody's wing and just, getting his stripes up. But you know him,
he's going to hustle.
Yeah, he'll be good in that industry once he gets going. It's just... Anything like that, you need to create momentum first, right?
I know way less successful car salesmen that have gone into real estate that are killing it. So
yeah, and he's the fucking
man
man at car sales. Yeah, so
that man knows what's up.
Yeah, I always used to love it. When he explained to me that he was the Corvette guy for the dealership. I'm like, so what does that mean? He's like, that means if you were a salesman and someone walked in and you spent 45 minutes with them, the best you get is half a sale. Because they'll literally say, oh, okay, thanks, Fred. And then I come in. And he's like, you could have had it 90. I could have just literally got the guy to sign the papers. I get half of it. He's like, anyone buys a fucking high-end Corvette, they see me. And I was like, that's gangster.
We got a guy like that at our dealership right now, too, for all the classic cars that we have. Yeah.
Because, yeah, you guys have, like, quite a bit of, like, older vehicles, like Broncos and some of those, like, Shelbys or whatever.
Yeah, we have anything, you know, old trucks, anything from, like, resto mods, all originals, to crazy, crazy mods. You know, like, we had some 70s trucks that were fucking lifted 4 feet in the air with, like, crazy, crazy mudding tires. Looks like a mudding truck, like, nuts.
Post-apocalyptic vehicle?
Yeah, and then we've had some pro mod, well, not pro mod, we've had some resto mod vehicles that are, like, you know, old muscle cars with, like, essentially a brand new muscle car under the body. It's like a frame of, like, a 2012 Corvette with, like, a crazy motor and shit. And then we have all original ones, too. And, yeah, it's good. Like, anything from Mustangs, Chevelles, we've had a Cobra, got a bunch of old, like, C10s, K15s. I don't know. If anybody who knows their old muscle cars and American-made vehicles still know what I'm talking about. It's nice. It's just cool to see some variety, you know. It's not just the new stuff.
Yeah.
And then we have our exotic / luxury division, too, down the street.
Yeah, I just went there the other day for the first time. They got everything under the sun
nice
in there.
eh?
Well, the building itself isn't that nice. I mean, it could be a gym for all fucking intents and purposes.
But that's mod, like,
yeah, it's just literally a big square room.
Yeah, it's a big warehouse.
For a big warehouse, it does look nice. It's done up nicely, yeah. But once you start walking around that warehouse, like, fuck me, man. Ferraris, Lamborghinis, McLarens, Rolls Royce, Maybach, anything else that I may have missed, Bentley, anything you can fucking think of, man. I was just like, I think I was waiting for Din, or Din was waiting for me or something. I can't. Oh no, we were waiting. Yeah, both of us were there, and we were waiting for the guy to give us the paperwork, tell us where we're going, blah blah blah. And I'm just walking around like, holy fuck, man.
Yeah, man, there's more G-Wagons in there than you could fit in one rap video. That's for sure.
Hey, man. Those cars are all nice and shit, but I didn't see a Ford Escape in there.
Well, you'd be surprised. They just moved the customs department in there.
Yeah,
so you'll see a couple more regular whips in there, too.
They were putting... So does that mean it's going to be out of your dealership and, like, simply there? Like, if someone came to your guys and was like, yo, I'm going to build a truck, they're going to take the truck there?
Yeah, like, we still have a counter there for parts sales and stuff like that, and, like, selling services, but, like, all the work is going to be done at the outside building, yeah.
That makes sense.
So our service department just expanded. They took over the customs lifts, so more regular service work can be done. I don't know, the O'Sullivan Group is crazy. Always expanding, doing really well. Trying to look for new opportunities in all economic circumstances and doing really well.
Maybe I should give Phil a call, see if he got any work for me over there.
Hey, dog, it's not a bad company to be with. If you're willing to put in the work and you're liked, which
I was, yeah.
Yeah, then you have a good shot at
I was liked by most of the people. There was a couple people there I kind of went off on once or twice.
Yeah, but there's people that deserve it too, you know.
Yeah, the one guy specifically.
But you know, he's simmered down over the years, and
because his attitude changed, he's got a little bit better.
Good opportunity, you know. And he's got some. He went somewhere else within the group, and he's doing really well. So
yeah,
it's good.
I actually got props the one day, and then I went off on him. Like multiple people were like, "Yeah, he needed that."
Well,
someone needed to say that to him. Well. Fortunately and unfortunately, I'm that guy. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good being that guy, but
it didn't end up with you getting fired or taking any fucking fists to the face.
I didn't even get a talking to. Exactly. No one said nothing to me.
So that was a good situation.
I mean, that wasn't too long before I quit. I might even have had my end date already when I did that, but no one said shit to me.
Mentally, Fred had already quit.
Pretty close, yeah. Pretty close. I was 1 foot in. No, I think at that point I was probably already working part-time at the jewelry store, like really trying to transition over to there. So yeah, I was probably halfway out the door. But whatever. In hindsight, I probably should have stayed there, but whatever. I wasn't really happy in the position I was doing there. So.
Well, you never know, right? Like, you gained some good experience in the other positions that you've had since then, so it's not bad, man. Inventory management and everything else. It's good stuff to know.
Inventory management and sales.
Yep.
You guys have anything cool that happened over the last fucking week that you want to talk about?
What about Tate?
Man, I do not give a single fuck about that guy. If you guys want to talk about him, you're more than welcome to, but I do not give a single fuck about that guy. I honestly don't think he's... Whatever, fuck, fine. I don't think he's going to jail. I think he's going to spend some money and he'll be out. And more. What do you guys think about Tory Lanez?
Oh, that's a good question too.
Well, did they finish his sentencing yet? I know he's guilty, but they had him the
I don't
sentence
think
yet?
he's been sentenced yet because they're going to appeal, right? Like he's going to appeal.
Well, no,
once
but he's
the
in
sentencing
jail
has to
right
happen
now.
Before the appeal.
Then you appeal the sentencing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you say? Sorry, Zach?
Said he's currently sitting in jail right now, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He's
well,
been.
once you get convicted,
Yeah, you
you're not
gotta
allowed to
await
leave.
sentencing. Yeah.
Oh,
Especially,
yeah, no. If you post bail,
Yeah, but
you are
he's a
allowed to
flight
leave.
risk. They won't let him leave.
He's an international superstar. He's not really a flight risk.
Sure he is. That's exactly why he's a flight risk, because he's got the money.
Yeah, but the man can't make any more money once he's like. It's not like he's like gonna
Live
you know,
off
some
the
crypto
royalties,
guy
bro.
who's gonna keep doing crypto somewhere in the middle of Mexico on some beach.
How much money do you think Tory Lane says? 10
Not
million?
much.
20 million?
I don't think though.
I think he's got at least 10.
He's probably got assets, but liquid.
Well, yeah, if you liquidate all your shit and then you move
Yeah,
to
but
fucking
if you start liquidating all your shit while you're on bail, that's when they're gonna put you back in jail. You can't
liquidate
do
it from
that.
the other country.
His
How?
net worth is approximately $5 million, but that's just
The
like
government
that's
seizes your
like you
shit.
don't know what all of his assets and
Yeah,
everything
like
are.
the
And he's
guy-
also got connections. Like net worth goes a lot farther than just a piece of money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But even 5 million, man,
Andrew Tate's got
5 million.
connections.
Andrew
I don't know
Tate's
what Tory
got
Lane's.
a lot more money and a lot more connections for sure. But $5 million is definitely enough to fuck off to Lebanon or I don't know. One day we Googled all the places that don't extradite to the United States, and we picked like the best ones. I think it's like Belize and Lebanon, and there was one other place where it's like, yeah, it actually wouldn't be that bad to live there. And I mean, Russia right now.
Probably Cuba doesn't extradite either.
Maybe that was, I can't remember. There was so many countries that you never heard of or you would never want to go live there. You're like, fuck that. But there was a lot of countries where it's like, man, you take 5 million Canadian to fucking Lebanon, you'd be all right. You wouldn't be a fucking rap superstar, but hey, man, you fucked that up. you gotta eat that.
Yeah, it depends. Usually, you gotta if you bring that kind of money into those type of countries, you gotta have a lot of security on you 24/7. Otherwise, you are the big fish everyone wants to
Hey, man,
fucking
he's a shooter.
get a piece of. I don't know, man.
Bring that Kelsey girl or whatever her name was, Kaylee,
If
and
it's,
they're Kelsey, and they're good.
I don't know, man. If you're a shooter and the only hitting you're doing is hitting the feet of your
Bro,
fucking opponent, that's
If my two choices are life in jail in the United States or attempting it on the run in Lebanon with $5 million in cash, I'm taking life on the run. Fuck it. The worst thing, I mean, yeah, okay, I could die. I could die in jail too. The second worst thing that's gonna happen is they catch me and I go to jail. That was the other option. Like, why not? Fuck it.
If he was gonna run, I feel like he would have already done so while he was still free and able to do his fucking thing.
No, you don't run until you get that guilty, bro. He was thinking he was going to beat it. Because their whole plan, right, was that Kelsey girl to say that it was her in his trial after she got immunity. So she was like, yeah, it's me. He gets a not guilty. And then they can't prosecute her on her charges because she took a fucking...
Yeah, but
whatever
did she backstab him or what happened?
No, they just still convicted him.
Well,
there was a phone call from jail right after he got arrested with her, and he's like apologizing, saying he was super drunk and that he should have never done that, and he didn't even remember what happened, and he's sure that her and Meg Thee Stallion are never going to talk to him again, but he doesn't know what happened. He's never been that drunk.
So another
I shouldn't
case
have done
of
something like that.
Not shutting the fuck up, biting you in your.
Which hospital is
Yes.
she at? Which hospital is she at? He kept asking her which hospital Meg Thee Stallion was at and shit like that. The tabloids or whatever is like, they don't know if he's concerned or like trying to get people to go like intimidate the witness before the cops get there or whatever. Blah blah blah. But yeah, that's what really did him in. Was even though she was saying that she did it or there was gun residue on both their hands, there's a phone call recording from jail where he's like sloppily drunk apologizing.
Yeah,
for
but
it.
how can they use that as like
I don't know, motherfucker. I ain't a lawyer.
as no for sure, but how can you use something as evidence when the man was under the influence of something at the time?
It might not be deemed as like as credible, but that's the defense's.
Yeah. Was this
that's his lawyer's job to convince the jury or the
so
judge.
it was a jury trial? It wasn't just a
I'm not sure.
trial owned by
I think it was a
judge?
jury. Do you know, Zach?
It was a jury.
Okay.
It was a jury. Yeah, that's his job. Me as the prosecution. The worst that could happen from my very limited knowledge of shit like that is when the prosecution puts forward evidence like that, it's been seen. The jurors have now seen it. Then the defense lawyer will be like, strike that. And then the lawyer will be like, or the judge will be like, oh yeah, that's not
Yeah, it's not admissible.
admissible in court.
Yeah.
You guys have to forget that you saw that. They don't really forget that they fuck. If you hear a guy sloppy drunk like, yo, I'm so fucking sorry. I don't know what I was doing. I fucking shot at her. Then you're like, yo, forget that you heard that. I'm like, yeah, okay.
How are you supposed to?
How am I supposed to forget that I just heard this guy admit to shooting somebody?
Well,
You know
you're
what I
a
mean?
Terrible jury member then, if you're not impartial
Oh, yeah.
like that. That's
Well, it's not about being impartial.
It is. You have to only consider the facts that are admissible in court when making your decision. That is your job as a jury member.
Well,
But it's not that easy. Man.
it's not that easy, yeah, man.
Practical thing too. Like you can't just.
Is your mic on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you mean you guys go? You're here. Motherfucker.
Yeah,
what
we
the
need some
fuck?
input from you, man. We need some of that Zach knowledge and wisdom.
I'm trying to get the freaking GoPro working.
Fuck it.
Fuck that shit.
sounds like next week's problem.
Instant 360 X3 for the win. Yeah.
No free shoutouts.
Hey, it didn't let us down.
Black
Fuck
camera
GoPro.
that we got today for the win. You know, we shouted out GoPro like 30 times and they let us down.
Cancel GoPro.
That's why they let us down. What was the question again?
We were talking about being a good juror member and all.
Oh yeah, it's pretty hard to just forget shit like that. You know what I mean? Once it's implanted in your brain, it just kind of goes to like.
Yeah, but like it's not.
I know
that you
it's
have
your
to
job,
forget it,
but there's
you
a
don't
lot
have
of things
to,
that
you
your
can't take
job.
that into consideration when making a decision.
But that's what he's saying is like it's impossible
It's-
not to take
yeah,
that into
man.
consideration. Like,
Even judges, when they have to give out sentencings and stuff like that, like a lot. I mean, I know that their job is literally to be impartial, but I mean, I'm sure a lot of the factors, like, when they say, have you ever seen clips of judges sentencing someone and they're like, the guy should get this sentence, but they're like, but the severity of how you've acted in this courtroom and
your
all-
attitude has no remorse, so I'm going to
Exactly.
strike you with the
Exactly.
hardest.
So-
Yeah, that's the
I've seen
judge
that multiple
has
But
the
that's the
ability
part of human
to-
psychology that plays a part in it. And what Fred, I think, was saying was that once you get that thing in your brain, like anything, even if you think maybe your girl walked out or stepped out on you or something like that, even if it's in your brain, it's going to sit there for a little bit, right?
Being one of those jurors and hearing him be like, yeah, like I didn't hear the video, I don't know exactly what he says, but let's just if
Yeah.
in any court case you hear them being like, yeah, I'm sorry for shooting that person, and then the judge is like, yo, you got to forget that you just heard that, and you're like, okay, well, no, he just admitted he shot somebody. I don't want to let a free person out that's gonna shoot somebody else. Blah 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 blah. Whether that's morally right or not, and like I get that the criminal justice system is like you're supposed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt and things of that nature. Like I get it. It's just that's not how it actually works.
Well, otherwise, a lot of innocent people are going to get locked up for a long time, right? It's there.
They already do.
to protect
Yeah,
you.
they already
Oh, for
are,
Sure,
yeah.
but it only gets worse, right? Like if there's certain things, if somebody has enough money to hire a legal team that's crafty enough to put evidence into the courtroom that's going to fuck you without actually being particular to this case, like if they bring something else in that has nothing to do with the case, that's going to make you look really bad and make you look really guilty in this instance, even though it has nothing to do with that, which wouldn't regularly be admissible in court, but all of a sudden it is because we didn't have all that bullshit, that it would be really easy for anybody with good money to smear your character enough to make you guilty of anything.
That's what happens. They were sitting there both airing out each other's dirty laundry, all the different rappers, both of them
Yeah,
are
but
fucking.
if you have a proper
look at the
jurors-
Johnny Depp and fucking Amber Heard case for fucking 3 weeks. All we heard was the dirty laundry. That's exactly what you do.
Yeah.
You know how many people?
And how many times were the
fake-
lawyers like that? Striking as that's inadmissible, and then the judge would have been like, okay.
Not a lot. Not for Amber and fucking Johnny. They were saying all this
Yeah,
shit.
but
How many
that's a
drugs
judgment.
do you do? Who's shit in
Yeah.
whose bed? Who said this
Because
to
you're
which
judging,
friend?
that's a completely different thing. You're not judging an instance. You're not judging a shooting. You're judging character. That is character. Who was the abusive one throughout the relationship? That is judging of character throughout a long period of time.
If
That's where
you are
have
trying to
smear
portray
somebody.
that this guy does not respect women, he sleeps around on this woman, he shot at her feet and said, "Dance, bitch." All of that is character. What are you talking? How are you separating those two things?
He's a rapper. That's his image of him, whether
I'm sure
someone
his whole
says that in
defense
court or
was
not.
saying it was a persona. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
it
not
is
actually a
fucking
big tough guy.
He's
Well,
not a big tough guy, man.
Well,
I'm telling you.
he's a little shooter.
I guarantee you, if some big guys in jail are gonna go up to Tory Lanez and fuck with him, I don't think he's
So
gonna
he'll
be
in
putting up a
PC.
fight.
No one's gonna be close to him. He'll be in PC. He'll be in protective custody.
And why is that?
Because he's a celebrity.
Yeah, man, he's gonna be.
Like,
yeah.
what are you arguing? What are you arguing right now? He's even Steve-O. I just watched like the latest Steve-O clip, like comedy clip that came out, and he was getting arrested, and he was like, "I knew I'd be in protective custody, so no one was gonna." He's like, "So now I started thinking, how many times can I jerk off in jail?" And he's like, "They let me out after 6 hours. I didn't even get to jerk off."
See, but that's like a relatively new concept. Celebrities were not that singled out, even like in the early 2000s still. Like,
What do you guys think of juries to be honest, now that we're kind of talking about that, do you think juries still have a place, or do you think that's more of like an archaic kind of way of handling the law because of the way the media is now? I remember on high profile cases back in the day, like,
Casey Anthony.
yes, and do you remember when they say jury blackout, where the juries aren't allowed to read
to watch the media or
anything
talk to
like that?
people.
Yeah.
So you're kind of eliminating those people's freedoms in the mistaken route of trying to seek justice, right? So it's just like one negative thing outweighs one negative thing.
well, you're trying to prevent undue influence happening on them, right? Like, it's like you said. if
Yeah,
media
but now
reports a bunch
today's
of
day
shit-
and age, everything is, you can get everything like one click. So do you
It's
think,
impossible for them to not. If it's a big enough case, if it's some small case of a fucking hit and run over there
Yeah.
and somebody died, nobody knows nobody, whatever.
but even then, small towns,
if
they
there was a kid or
no,
something.
but they all talk to each other
They all
too, right?
talk,
So there's
yeah.
always a little bit of undue influence on,
There has to be.
right?
But
So do you
everyone has
think that?
natural biases.
Of course. So do you still think that juries would still have a place? Because there's going to be people that walk in, checking the box, saying, I don't know anything about this, but maybe they're going in thinking, fuck this guy, I'm going to show him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I'd rather have 12 people like
Judge you than one.
than one guy who's part of the upper elite, doesn't understand me because he carries himself in circles that I'll never be in, and who's usually much older and educated much differently than my generation, right? Like, I'd rather have an actual jury of my peers. I'd rather be
That's
judged
the
by 12
thing. If
people
they're
who are like
actually your
me.
peers.
If they are, yeah. That's what I'm saying. There's some,
but
I
the
guess there's a
chances
risk
of you
either
having
way,
at
right?
least one guy on that 12 people that is more like you than just having one judge.
Than a judge, yeah.
You know, there's much higher chances that you're going to find somebody who can sympathize with you on that. And depending on what state you're in or what crime you're being convicted for, if it's not all 12 jurors convicting you, you don't get convicted.
You just need one, yeah.
Yeah, so like I'd much rather do that than
I'd
have
much
a
rather do
trauma
that, yeah.
judge. Fuck that.
If I was on trial, I'd much rather have it be a jury. And I'd be telling my lawyer to fucking make sure that's a jury of my peers. I don't want no old ladies. I don't want none of that shit. Get 30-year-old men and women in that whole fucking thing.
That's why they screw the poor
Yeah.
people, right? They screw them by having them enter plea bargains, which is just like pre-judgments without any sort of jury trial, right? Because then there's no chance of you getting off. It's just you accepting your admission to guilt for something that you probably didn't even do, just so they can sentence you with something. It'll be lesser than what you were facing if you went to a jury trial and
But
got
you're not-
convicted guilty. But
You don't have
you're
the chance
screwing
to
yourself.
beat it.
Yeah, you don't have the money to defend yourself in a jury trial. So like the only chance you have is to take a plea bargain because you're poor.
Speaking
And
of
that's
that, these
bullshit.
aren't poor people. Rowdy Rebel was on Drink Champs like a month ago, but I finally got around to listening to it. So they were talking about like the plea deal. They were like, so what happened? He was like, man, our lawyers brought us in, and it was me, Bobby, and then he says like 2 or 3 other people. And he's like, they wanted to give Bobby 5, they wanted to give me 12, they wanted to give this other guy 10, they wanted to give this other guy 15, and then this guy was looking at 18. And then the lawyer was like, they'll drop everybody down. So like the 15s went down to 10, the 10s went down to 7. Everyone got 7. The one guy at 15 was going to go down to 10, and the one guy at 18 was going to go down to 13 or 15 or something like that. And they were all kind of like holding their breath because really Bobby Schmurder was the only one that could take it. He's the one taking more time to do it. So they were all like, nah. And then he was like, no, fuck that. We're taking that fucking deal, man. I'll do the extra 2 years if you all get out fucking collectively like 10 years early. The one guy facing 18 said no. He's like, nah, I'm taking this shit to trial. He lost in trial, got sentenced to 33 years.
But
Like, goddamn, bro.
if he had it off the worst, man, like at the end of the day, like at
You
least
gotta
the
know
man
what the
tried.
evidence they have against you, too,
The man
though.
tried. You can't blame him. I mean, even doing 15 years or 18 years in jail is like it's no
Yeah,
easy
he
task.
said, I can't lose 15 years of my life. It's like, well, motherfucker, you just lost 33.
Depends, man. When you grow up, you know, when you're not that financially sound and you come out of prison with a felony record, no fucking idea how to be a man because
When
you
you're
went
in
to
Bobby
child
Schmurder's
and-
gang and you kept your fucking mouth shut, I fucking best believe I have a job. Security, driver, merchandise. I better have a fucking
How
job
do you
when
know,
I get
man?
out.
What's Bobby Schmurder released since he's kind of jail? That's been good.
Nothing, but he's
By the time
fucking
that
rich
guy's
still.
out of-
He's still rich, yeah, man.
Yeah,
Multiple
but,
rappers
man,
were giving him money.
50
He signed another deal. He's still got money, bro.
Yeah,
It's not like he's a bum.
So what? He's got 7 years to blow that before the 15 years would have been up.
Put 500K away from me, dog. When
What?
I'm out, give me that 500K. The rest is on me, dog. Straight up. put 500K away. I held it down. We gang. We squad. We put this shit above everything. You can't put 500, one fucking tenth of your wage away from me?
People shoot each other in the face over 10K where those guys
We supposed to be gang, dog.
These guys were like,
We
Yeah.
all just kept our fucking
How many
mouth shut. We
times,
just
man?
proved we're gang.
There's this list, those are the guys that turn on each other all the time over
Not
money.
us. We just proved, not us. We just held it down,
Well,
dog.
that guy
We were all
didn't care.
facing 15 years and no one said shit.
That guy didn't have faith in the group. That's why he took the fucking
No,
took
he
it to
didn't have
trial.
faith. He had more faith in his lawyer. And his lawyer let him
Yeah,
down.
so he let probably some rich white guy. He had more
What
faith
does that
than
have
his
to
homies.
Dan, you're moving the goalposts. What does that have to do with him not being like getting a job from Bobby Schmurder after he's done a 15-year bid for him? Look at Hove. Look at Jay-Z. Emery went to jail the minute he got out. He's on every song. Emery's got better card than you, and he's never spit a verse in his life. Why? Because when the feds came 20 years ago, Emery said, "That's mine." But fuck you, Hove. That's mine. So when that motherfucker gets out of jail, bruh, pulling up.
That's Hove, man. You're talking about one guy
Dog,
who had
it
a
doesn't.
one-hit
He's
wonder.
got millions of dollars, bro. You're saying from where these people come from, he doesn't have a career. Albeit, he never had a career. He joined this gang with you. You guys ascended to the top. You don't think some of those, how do you know he wasn't telling Bobby, yo, that's my beef, go shoot that fucking clown? And he was like, okay, you're the boss, dog, let's do this. I'm squad, I'm gang. And then you go to jail and he's like, oh, I don't know, man, you're kind of on your own when you get out. That is fucking bitch shit, dog. Bobby Schmurder should have been looking at that dude like, I got you for life. Until I'm broke, you're not broke until I'm broke. In my opinion. And how much those guys all held it down for each other? There should be gang like that. We got technical difficulties or what?
No, the GoPro's back up and running. So this one,
The other one stopped
that-
recording. It's because it's the Wi-Fi. We're talking some Wi-Fi thing. It's recording again.
either way, the GoPro's been on for 15 minutes. So
We're gonna just switch qualities back.
it's a trial and error episode.
Oh, 100%,
it.
man. I mean, as long as the audio is good, we're always good.
Maybe next time we'll just turn the camera on and we don't have to connect it to the Wi-Fi, and then it won't drain the battery or it won't have connectivity.
It's I might need to have it on for the thing, at least for me to connect with my phone. Next time, we'll just do it off the camera. It'll be all good. We'll figure it out. New equipment, you know. You gotta figure out how that shit works. It is what it is.
sorry guys.
I don't be sorry. It means you're smoking.
I've never smoked. But anyways,
Anyways, if Bobby Schmurder didn't hold that guy down, he's a fucking clown.
For sure.
I'm saying.
Well, that's fair.
If
But
someone sacrifices their freedom for you, the least you can do is put a little bit of your paycheck away and be like, "Hey man, when you come out, at least you got a place to live. You got rent for the next year. You know what I mean? Get the guy on their feet, even if it's not a lot. Something
Like I said, that little bit of money, and then it's on me. But bruh, you gotta have. Other rappers had shit for Rowdy Rebel and Bobby Schmurder when they came home. Young Thug, Jim Jones, all these gangster dudes were buying them chains, giving them stacks of money. It was all over Instagram.
Yeah, I know.
Here, man,
I remember.
you did it the right way here. So with the other guy, keeps his fucking mouth shut and does it the right way, and then does the time, you can be like, oh, sorry. fam.
Also, that does show that the respect that they earned for like keeping their mouth shut extended far past the group that they were protecting. It's other people in the industry that were like, okay, so this guy's actually real as fuck.
Well, especially New York, man. New York is a different breed. Like, those guys really respect that kind of stuff, you know? Out there, it really
a
is
little bit.
like the hood versus the establishment, like to the max. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't, man. Over 15 years, man, the likelihood that this guy isn't gonna A, blow all the money, and B, get shot, and then
Doesn't matter.
Set up.
That's
Yeah.
up to him, dog. You
That's
can
what I'm
walk
saying. That's
out,
why he made
take
that choice.
500K and hit the casino, hookers blow and blackjack and blow the whole thing. I just say, don't ask me for any more, dog.
No. But that's what I'm saying. And I'm talking about the guy who's gonna get the 15 years and then I'm doing 33.
Yeah.
You have to put that faith in Bobby that he's A, not gonna blow that money, B, not gonna get shot in between that time.
Well, if he gets
See,
shot,
like-
it's not. I'm assuming it'd be in a bank account somewhere. A trust.
Yeah, put it in. I was just gonna say,
Give
put
him
it in a trust
to you,
with his. Yeah.
It's not gonna be in a fucking safe under his mattress.
that's old school, man.
Yeah, man. Like the guy. Yeah, okay, he's a gangster rapper, but he still got $5 million or whatever the fuck. Bobby, well, probably not. $3 million or whatever the fuck he's got. Like, he can open up a bank account, dog. It's like,
If Tory Lanez worth $5 million, how the fuck is Bobby Schmurder gonna be worth $3 million? Think about how many albums Tory Lanez has, how many successful singles. Bobby Schmurder has one single that did well. How is this
Very
guy
well.
worth $3
What's
million?
it called, Dan? Can you tell us both words of the name of what it's called?
Hot
Just
Boy.
Hot word that I will not say.
Didn't know you wanted to get the podcast canceled this early.
We haven't even been monetized yet.
Thought we're gonna get at least 100 subscribers before we get it canceled. Come on.
As of December 10th, 2022, Bobby Shmurda's net worth is estimated to be at $400,000. That doesn't really prove any points, but that's pretty low.
First off, I've heard every celebrity say that net worths don't mean shit, to be honest with you.
They're either overinflated or underinflated.
Usually overinflated.
Oh, for sure. But apparently, yeah. Go ahead.
So nice. Let me put $100,000 more than I'm worth away from my homie.
Okay, yeah, but 50K, like, the amount that you're putting away is not what
I know.
I'm not.
It's the fact that you're doing something to repay me for being loyal and fucking taking that L.
10K. Like, who fucking cares? Like you described, these guys are guys from the
Hey
hood
man,
with
10K
nothing.
invested properly over 15 years can turn into a lot of money.
And it's probably also, while they're in jail by themselves alone, it's probably like a little bit of mental peace to know that there's something out there waiting for them that's positive, right?
Man, well,
Such as
not
money
just that,
or,
man.
know
You
what I
better be
mean?
putting money in my commissary, man. I ain't spending 15 years on the bare minimum to come up
sure
to
they are.
potentially some money.
I think I'd be good at that part of jail.
I
but
mean,
that's the
Bobby
only part.
Shmurda, yet again, Rowdy Rebel just said it. He just signed to Sony Records, like, within the last year or two. I don't think his net worth's only $400,000.
It's pretty hard
No,
to
but-
rely on
man,
that
but
stuff.
He's been on 2 different record labels. That means at least 2 different contracts.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean shit. Signing bonuses is in advance. A signing bonus is money they give you, and you're not gonna get paid from the label again until you've earned that money and stuff like that. So, like, being a rapper on contract or being in a label contract is not all it's made out to be. Like,
That's why a lot of people stay independent, but then you're literally 100% responsible for your product, whether it fails or succeeds, right?
yeah, but that's to get 100% of the money.
True, but
the
that's
word
why-
independent is thrown around a lot in hip hop where it shouldn't necessarily be.
Do you think Russ is truly independent?
He's probably the most truly independent.
But do you think
that I can
Chance the
think of.
Rapper was independent?
Not at all.
There we go.
Not
I
at
like
all.
Joey Badass and like the Pro Era group.
I don't know enough about them to
Mac
do it.
Miller was pretty independent for a long time on Rostrum
Ish, yeah,
Records.
Rostrum
at the
Records,
beginning, and then
yeah. I mean, yeah, but he's still on Rostrum Records, who had still launched Wiz Khalifa, who was already a fucking big.
But it was still an independent label. So
Yeah,
I get
it's
what
not
you're
a
saying.
major.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
It's not like Russ, who was literally signed to Russ Records at
And
the time. You
your
know?
buddy TJ was telling us that he would literally just put TikToks or Instagrams out saying add in your own freestyle, and he'd pick the best one, and that would actually be on the release track. I think that's very.
He does
fucking-
remixes.
That's very cool. Yeah.
He has a song called "Handsomer."
I that's the one with that Caitlyn raps.
Yeah, that's the one that
Yeah.
Buddy did. So yeah, and then she did a remix to it, sent it back to him, and then that became the official remix. And
Which
then
is
he
that's
like
pretty cool, man, because you're fostering people.
he
to come
signed her
up.
to his record label.
Yeah, it's
man.
sick.
He was she was the second person signed to his record label.
Nice.
So independent artists or any artists that are not signed to a record label that's part of the JM, as Kanye would say, or what? What's
Well,
sort of
major labels is what most people would
yes.
consider it as. Yeah.
You know.
Do you know the reference I was making?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
good. Just making sure.
But yeah, Chance the Rapper saying
God,
he's
you clips kill me,
independent
man.
when he has like a agreed thing with Apple Music that they're gonna pump his music and put it on every playlist. It's like you're not independent, dude. You're pretty much signed to Apple.
Yeah. Well, that depends, though. If you're, as an artist, independently creating these marketing opportunities with these, like, outlets, that's on you. Because that's usually what these labels will do for you. And that's why they take such a large cut of your money, which is ridiculous.
I'm just saying you can't say he's fully independent.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. He's not fucking Macklemore coming off a thrift shop, but, like...
And I don't know enough about
don't
Macklemore
either.
either. I don't know if he was signed to anybody.
But have you guys? I can't remember who the rapper was, but did you ever see that clip about how some record labels can be super dirty when they're signing some of these younger rappers? And he
For
talked
sure.
about how they'll sign them to, I think they said a 360.
360?
Yeah, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then a week he'll go to a party, then a week later a video will come out, he got drugged, and then
Yo.
4 dudes are like running a train on him, and now they have some blackmail against the dude. And then that way that guy's stuck with them for a long time, right?
That's in every black, like every
You guys have
higher
heard those-
circle where someone's getting blackmailed. Whether it's Jeffrey Epstein with his island having footage of you on there and doing whack shit, or it's a label like that. You know, 4 dudes running a train on you because they drug the fuck out of you, or someone makes you fuck a goat to join a college fraternity, and now all of a sudden, 10 years later, you're getting rich, or you're
Yeah.
becoming famous, or you're in politics, and then all of a sudden someone has that fucking video of that
And
shit,
they need
right?
a favor.
Yeah, exactly. You know, there's always
The
the world ain't
example,
fair, man. Someone's getting fucked at all times.
the example you guys are really looking for is from that Dave Chappelle. I call it a TED Talk because it was hardly a stand-up comedy. I think it was Birds of whatever. I can't remember the name of it.
Feather?
No, I can't remember what the name of the Chappelle stand-up is. If you guys know what Chappelle thing I'm talking about, where he talks about Comedy Central and a pimp named Slickback?
Oh, Boondocks, classic.
Or yeah,
fucking
maybe
character.
no, a pimp named Iceberg Slim, sorry, not Slickback.
Okay.
Slickback's from Boondocks, yeah.
Yeah.
Iceberg Slim's from a Biggie song, isn't it?
So Iceberg Slim is a real pimp that literally wrote books about being a pimp. And his name is literally Iceberg Slim. Chappelle quotes it in the stand-up comedy because somebody asked him about quitting Comedy Central and moving to Africa. And he was like, man, they'll paint you out like you're fucking crazy. And in Iceberg Slim, I'm like doing this very verbatim, or sorry, like very paraphrasing, thank you. Pretty much, this pimp has his bottom bitch. Your bottom bitch is your hardest working hoe, and the other one that you can rely on to keep the rest. She's pretty much like the manager of the hoes. But every girl has, he says, like an odometer of kilometers, and eventually they're gonna mile out, where they just can't take this lifestyle anymore. Whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, they'll just snap. They cannot do this shit. So pimps had to start thinking about ways to roll back the kilometers to extend that fucking lifespan. So the girl says, I want out, blah, blah, blah. He says, yeah, no problem. Just do one more trick for us, baby, and then you're out of here. She says, yeah. She goes across the way. He says, yo, this guy likes to get freaky or whatever. This is like an aphrodisiac. Put it in his drink. He's down. She says, yep. She goes. She drugs the guy. The guy hits the floor. She phones the pimp. The pimp's like, well, fuck, you killed him. You must have given him too much. I'll be over there in a minute. Comes over with a doctor. The doctor says he's dead. They said, what are we going to do? The pimp says, don't worry, I'll take care of this. All of a sudden, 2 or 3 guys more show up. They roll him up in the fucking rug. They get him out of there. The fucking pimp looks at the girl and he says, all right, I cleaned up this situation that you made, but now you owe me. And now she feels like she's in debt to the pimp because he just kept her out of jail for murdering this guy. Well, little does she know, what he put in the drink was salt. The guy that was the trick was an actor. He just hit the floor and nothing happened. The doctor that came in is one of his homies. And the 3 guys that came to roll up the rug, it's Nico's the guy that hits the floor, Dan's the doctor, you and fucking Francesco come and roll up the rug. Everybody's in on it except the fucking girl. And then you get to extend the life period of this girl. That's what these record labels and people in these situations will do. They want to roll back how far you get until you get to the end. So whether it be fucking you with another deal, giving you the golden handcuffs or whatever so that you never want to leave because you think the money is so good, whether it's some incriminating shit, they just want to keep you there so that they can have like the control over it.
Alright, so let's full circle this back to Andrew Tate. Sort of similar to what The Matrix, aka...
By the way, hold on. It was
I'm
called
good
The
on
Bird Revelation.
The Bird Revelation.
And it was part of his New Year's Eve special.
on
But
that.
everything you said, I read this article, and everything you said was pretty spot on, so good
It's
job.
pretty close to that, yeah. Because I remember that story kind of fucked with me. And then in the story, he's saying he was Comedy Central's bottom bitch.
That's right.
He was the top earner for Comedy Central. He was the only thing going on at the fucking thing. They kept fucking with him with his image, saying shit in the media, saying things that were going to extend Chappelle's show at the same time, take away his control. And he was like, yeah, fuck all this, I'm out.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Dan.
No, don't worry.
Someone's
Just
car is
listen to
getting
the
broken
sounds of the
into
hood.
outside.
Yeah, exactly. Well, to full circle this back to Andrew Tate, that's the same thing they're doing with Andrew Tate, right? They're gonna say he did all this evil shit,
You
make
see
him
the
look
quote
bad.
of him saying that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's been saying that for forever,
Well,
for fucking 6 months plus. He's saying they've tried to stop me so many times. You know, even now that they've canceled me, they failed to silence me. So the next step is this. And it's the same thing. Look what happened to Epstein, right? Like, it's just different ways to silence you, to try to get you to fall in line, right? So that's exactly what they're doing. Like, you know, first they arrested him. Usually, you know, people get detained for 24, maybe 48 hours max. All of a sudden, it's 30 or 31 days in jail.
For questioning.
Exactly. So that's ways of, you know, that's them showing him, look what we can do on just questioning you, right? Like, let alone what can happen if you don't do what we fucking say, right? And yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It depends on what kind of resistance he puts up between now and then. I feel like he's either gonna be let out and then either shut the fuck up or keep going and get killed, or if he's defined enough in jail, maybe he'll never make it out. You never know.
Well, he did say, he's quoted as saying that when people get to a certain point of fame and power or status, as he calls it,
Yeah.
they have 3 lives. The first one's getting canceled, the second one's getting arrested, and the third one's getting killed. And he's like, I've already lost 1 life, I'm on to my second life, so now
Yeah.
it's, and they, yeah, but
There's another clip of him saying, if anything ever comes out about me doing anything super heinous, I didn't do it. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm living a fucking clean life. They've tried to get me to sell my soul. I'm not gonna do it. So
and
if they
same with the
can't
clips
sell your
about if-
soul, they're gonna fucking kill you. So if they can't get me in jail, they're gonna kill me. But I
Exactly.
mean,
like, I would
to be
never
honest, I don't
commit
even really
suicide.
like
That's
the
what he
guy.
says. I would never commit suicide. If anyone ever tells you I died
And
by
like,
suicide,
to
it's
be honest,
not
I think
true.
the guy's a tool. I don't even really like the guy, but some of the shit he says is all right. But the parts of what he says that are all right in my head is like you could apply that to anybody in almost any situation. He's like,
Yeah, but
if
he's
you're
just
a
trying
guy
to do it.
and
He's trying to reach
girls-
out to the masses. He's not trying to
Yeah.
single out like, oh, here are the 1% of losers. No, he's trying to talk to all men. Whether it doesn't matter
Well,
what
even
stage.
women. If a woman's in a relationship and that person's not respecting you and valuing your time and bigging you up and making you feel like you guys are like ascending a trajectory to get somewhere, fucking dip. Like that applies to anybody in any situation.
Except for men though, if the women ain't fucking lifting you up and making you to be the king
That's
you
what
are.
he's saying, though. I'm just saying
Yeah.
it applies the opposite way. It applies in any situation.
Well, it depends though. Like I mean, it depends on how independent of a woman you are. If you're able to do your own shit, no problem. But if you're a housewife and you don't have a job, you don't have a career, you don't have an education, you're kind of stuck with that man, right? Like it's harder for you to leave.
Harder for you to leave, but who knows? Who says maybe you won't achieve the same quality of life? But who says you won't find another man?
But hey, if you're a good enough woman, your man will treat you right. You know, if you're treating your man right, your man should treat you right. And if it ain't, then that's real domestic abuse right there.
I think the problem that comes with Andrew Tate is that he's talking about all these things that he can do and stuff because if he's at a certain point of his life, right? Not every average man can still do those same things because they don't have the money he has. They don't have all the stuff he has. So he's talking from a place of privilege in a way, and all these.
But he's telling you how to get to that point and or how to make people treat you like you are at that stage, right?
But
like
you aren't at that.
But
stage,
you can get
so.
ripped like him. You don't need to.
For-
you don't need to
but
be
that's
rich to
his
get
point.
ripped,
Exactly.
You know? Like, you can do all these things to change your life around. And if you join his Hustlers University, you can become rich, right? Like I mean, that's the play that he plays at. That's how he makes his money, right? He sells that. I don't know. I'm not part of that. I don't know what kind of classes he has or what sort of courses he teaches you to try to make money on the internet.
I'm
I know
sure
it's a bunch
it's
of
a lot
online
of
businesses
fucking
and shit like that.
Pyramid schemes and shit.
Well,
Yeah.
I know that there's like legitimately like hundreds of thousands of young men that have made good money utilizing the tools he has put out there.
According to this,
But
it says
like-
his new one, The Real World, because Hustlers University is done now. They turned it into The Real World.
Yeah,
and
because the Matrix shut that shit down.
So
When he
there's-
got canceled, they shut it down.
yeah, they have 200,000 subscribers on that one, The Real World, and they all pay $49.99 a month. So let's do the math here.
That's 10 mil a month.
Is it? Probably, I guess
12,000 times 50.
Yeah,
That's 10 mil a month.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 2 times 5.
That's pretty insane, man. Just even if you are spouting bullshit, at least he figured a way to.
And he
at the
owns
worst,
casinos and real estate and everything. Like there's so much more to him. That's the thing. He's got a multitude of businesses in all different areas, and that's how you create that everlasting wealth, right? You diversify, and you dominate. It's wild.
I still think he's kind of a clown, but more successful than I'll ever be.
Hey, bro, he was a kickboxing world champion.
Drive
like,
more
he
fucking
came from nothing,
Bugattis
you
and
know?
bang more bitches than I'll ever drive and bang.
Yeah, and I mean, he got in a pussy, you know? He was a world champion.
Oh, I didn't say he was a
kickboxer.
pussy, I just
No,
said
I
he
know,
was
but like, at least, you know, but there's people, like, there's the Ben Shapiro's of the world that'll, like, be all self-righteous and tell you about how to live your life and shit like that. But, like, they're not there to back up their words with whatever means are necessary.
Well, I mean,
And then,
I don't think Ben Shapiro's really trying to engage in a fight with anybody.
well, that's what I'm trying to say. At least, like,
But
you
I mean,
know,
I don't think that really makes him. What does that mean? What is being able to?
fight.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's just like the alpha
if you
male,
but if you
beta
believe in
male
something
shit.
strong enough, you should be willing to fight for it at all costs, right? There's people that
I guess, but just because Ben Shapiro's like a tiny little nerdy guy.
I think Ben Shapiro's like 6 feet
You
tall.
are alive is because the ancestors, well, the generation in Canada 100 years ago went to fight in the Great War the first time around, and then they did it the second time around. Not because the war was on your borders or at your shorelines. It was to defend.
What does that have to do
the
with Ben
freedom of
Shapiro
everybody
and
else.
Andrew Tate?
No, you said that if you need to be willing to fight for what you believe in. These people thought other people were getting oppressed.
Yeah,
they
but what
went
does that
across
have
the
to do
world
with-
to go kill people.
What does that have
that
to
were
do with
oppressing
Ben
others.
Shapiro fighting people for what he believes in? Like what? What does 100 years ago people going to war have to do with Ben Shapiro being opinionated and not fighting people?
I'm not saying that. You're saying you don't need to fight people. If you believe in something strong enough, you're willing to take it to any level to make that happen.
Okay, but
what does some farm boy from Saskatchewan who went to go fight in World War I or World War II have anything to do with Canada? The fucking Nazis weren't here. They weren't directly impacting you right this second.
I don't understand. Like, you're making like a guy being opinionated and being needed to willing to fight for that the same as like literally world war and like mass genocide.
I'm saying somebody who makes their money,
domination.
someone who makes their money off of preaching ideology and discussing all this crap. If he's not willing to go fight for that, but some random motherfucking farm boys had to go fight the ideology of other people, who's the real man?
Okay,
people fighting.
So
Andrew Tate,
that
who's
just
willing to
that
fight,
just literally leads to
real
anarchy.
man
Okay,
versus
so the
someone like Ben
biggest,
Shapiro.
baddest dude in the world. So anyone that could beat you up, Dan, should be able to take your bitch, take your money, take your car.
Ben
Because
Shapiro ain't gotta be jacked. They gotta be 7 feet.
Hold on. No. So there's just some dude who's 6'8", yoked. And he says, "You know what, motherfucker? My opinion is that your shit belongs to me because I'm alpha to you. You're the beta to me. So your shit belongs to me. So that car you just put all that money and work into," he says, "give me those fucking keys or I'm gonna fucking beat the fuck out of you and take them." That's cool with you? You're not gonna call the cops, Dan?
That's the same thing as government, man. What the fuck? You pay taxes, dude. It's the same thing. Just because they're bigger and badder than you, they tell you, motherfucker, pay me this money. It's like the mafia.
You're saying that anyone should be willing to fight for anything. So Ben Shapiro shouldn't be able to have an opinion if he's not willing to just fight people because of his opinion?
No. I'm just saying.
And then you reference that to World War?
I'm talking about being a real man. Like, Andrew Tate is a real man because he's very opinionated, but he's willing to fight and go through any
He's also
length to
probably
make
like
that happen.
6'5" and in peak physical fucking shape.
Yeah, he's in peak shape because
So
he goes
hold
to
on,
the fucking
you're
gym.
not a real man?
Huh?
You're not a real man?
What do you mean I ain't willing to fight?
Okay, willing to fight. Most of the time you're probably gonna lose.
Yeah? Who the fuck cares, man? How many of those fucking people died in the World War? They didn't go there.
Dog, I don't give a fuck about a world war. That's like extrapolating this to the 100th degree. You're talking about genocide. Millions of people killed. People who literally wanted to rule the world and extincted of populations. And comparing that to a guy who's a little Jewish guy on Twitter saying that you shouldn't fucking...
On Twitter? He's a media mogul. What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, he got his rise from Twitter. He's a little guy saying that people should live a more righteous and religious life. The difference between those two people is if you don't want to pay attention to Ben Shapiro, don't. Change the fucking channel. Scroll on your fucking phone.
Yeah,
Hitler was trying to take over the world and kill everybody in it.
He wasn't doing anything to the Canadians. Canada was able to live their life.
It would have gotten there.
Okay, and...
So what's Ben Shapiro's it would have gotten there that would have murdered the world?
What do you mean? He has
Except for the Aryan race.
He has ideologies that other people may not agree with. A lot of people probably don't agree with. Considering he is part of the small minority in the world.
What is his end game that is remotely comparable to Hitler's? What is that correlation?
We're discussing the difference between Andrew Tate and Hitler.
You're
versus
the one who
Ben
brought
Shapiro.
up the World War, dude.
No, I brought up World War because I was bringing up the example of people who are willing to fight to protect an ideology or who are willing to fight to protect the security of others.
I've seen you not want to fight someone and resort to phoning the police before fighting that person. I've literally seen you do it.
Yeah, because I'm an immigrant, dog. If I fight people here, I get kicked out of the country, dog. That's an instant L. That's taking the L.
All right. I don't know, man. Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. Okay, I guess Ben Shapiro's less of a man because he doesn't want to physically fight people, so his opinion shouldn't matter. No one should listen to him because he doesn't want to fight people.
Not what I'm saying.
What are you saying? Andrew Tate is a more superior person because he's willing to fight?
Because he's willing to go to any extent to go, like...
To get in organized boxing fights? Like, what? Like, so... If you're not willing to fight someone, you'd rather walk away and not fight them, and then proceed to provide for your community, provide for your family, being an excellent role model for people to look up to. You're less of a man than some fucking drunk clown at the club who's fucking drunk and you accidentally stepped on his shoe and he's willing to fight you because he's willing to fight someone. What are you talking about right
On
now,
the
dog?
natural,
That is the most basic alpha male like
yes,
shit I've
on
ever
the
heard you
basic
say.
natural scale of how things work in the world. Yes,
That's
the
not how things- maybe-
alpha will fight anybody in the group, whether it's in the gorillas or in the wolf pack or whatever,
And
to
they will
remain
go to
dominant.
jail. And they will go to jail.
Not in the natural
And then
kingdom.
Ben Shapiro, the smart guy who was very opinionated and used, I guess, the bigger bully of the government to put you in jail, wins. And he didn't even have to get his hands dirty.
Have you guys seen the clips of this? What's this guy? This gangster. He's from Texas. He snitches on everybody. He's been on every rap podcast and everything else.
Charleston White.
Yeah, there you go. So
Never heard of
you like the Charleston White way, eh?
Dog. Yet again, Dan, you can say all this shit on a podcast. I've literally, like, I'm sorry, dude. I'm calling a card. I've seen you avoid altercation at all costs in every aspect of your life. Just saying it's because you're an immigrant isn't true, dude. Those other people, you would have been 100% in the self-defense if you had acted. You phoned the police. You did what you're saying is a big no-no.
If I left my apartment to go confront those people,
They came and confronted you.
how? They didn't bang on my fucking.
You were telling me to be careful walking to my car. Like, I
Yeah.
was scared. I was like, dog, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna walk in my car and leave. What are you fucking talking about?
Bro, I got clips of these guys literally having a group fight in a fucking stairwell, putting holes in walls.
So aren't
dog.
you ready for that, dog? You the big alpha dog, bro. You alpha.
Yeah.
Go out there and fight.
Okay.
So
So
why didn't you do that?
I just explained that to you, bro. If I catch an assault charge, I ain't getting my fucking permanent residence card renewed,
Bruh,
dog.
You and I both know in that situation, you would have been in a self-defense 100%. You told
No,
this guy's
if
coming,
I
banging
go-
on
if
your
I go
shit,
out there, I
making
am
a big
asking for it.
scene, doing all these things, asking for it. That's like a rape victim asking for it. You would have been in self-defense, dude. I didn't tell you to go out there and start fighting the guy and just start beating the fuck out of him, which, again, in your case, is the alpha. So you're saying in Germany you would have done that? You would have went out there and just beat the fuck out of him if that was a German apartment?
It doesn't really happen out there. People are
No, Dan. You're in a German apartment. You're a legal citizen there. That exact same situation happens. Don't tell me there's no fights in Germany. People fight in Germany, dog.
Yeah, no.
You're gonna tell me there's not a single person
People
in
don't go to jail for
Germany
that shit. Yeah,
for assault?
I would have gone and fought the fucking guy. Yeah,
I doubt that.
I don't care.
I
But
doubt that, man.
jail
Everyone's a
sentences in
gangster
Germany are a
until they,
joke.
so someone breaks into your house. You're a victim now. Someone breaks into your house. You're not calling the police. You don't want any of your shit back. You're not gonna call the police because that's beta
I ain't
moves?
gonna get my shit back, dog. They ain't gonna do nothing. I know it ain't nothing's gonna fucking happen.
Okay, your car gets stolen. You're not phoning the police.
You know for a fact I wouldn't call the cops if they fucking broke into my house. You know that for a fact.
Bruh. Okay, your car gets stolen out of your parking lot. You're not calling the cops?
I'm gonna report. I have to report
Bullshit.
it stolen for insurance purposes, but I am not doing it to have any sort of hope that they're gonna recover my vehicle.
Bullshit.
They're
man.
never gonna recover my vehicle, dog.
Everyone
I work in a car dealership. We get whips stolen from us all the time. You know how many of them get recovered? Maybe 10%. I know my car ain't coming back, especially a car like that. It'd be done.
So,
be parted out, bro.
Your immigration status makes you a beta male. I could do whatever I want to, and you're not going to do anything because you're an immigrant.
Bro, if you stab me first, I don't. As long as you are gravely harming me, at that point,
Bruh.
I can.
You're trying to carve out this little niche, man.
If I'm the aggressor, I'm fucked.
Dude, but the world that you're trying to describe is anarchy. There's no authority. It's just the bigger, badder dude wins because he's bigger and badder than you. Then I'm sorry to say this, dude. All three of us are fucked. And no offense to the two of you, I'm making it further than both of you. I physically feel if the three of us had single one-on-one fights, I'm winning both of those fights.
Yeah, I'm fucking fat and shit. And that's not a problem.
So
I
what,
agree with
I'm the
that.
alpha? I'm supposed to walk around here like what the fuck are you talking about, dog?
In a natural order, yes, that would make you the alpha. 100%. On a natural, pure, basic instinct path, yes. That is how the world works for 99% of the
you're
fucking species out there.
Bigging up Andrew Tate for being a savage? For like literally being like an animal in a what's supposed to be sophisticated
there's a great
world?
Joe Rogan clip where he's talking about Jordan Peterson. You're supposed to be a savage. You're supposed to be ruthless. You're supposed to go to the max if you're living your life. Hold on, I'll see if I can find it. So we can Zach can include that in here.
I can find it
You're
after.
supposed
I'm
to
sure.
be, yeah. Look
And
it
the
up.
best part
It's Joe
about
Rogan
those
talking about
alpha
Jordan
males
Peterson.
is most of those dudes don't even want to fight people. Most of those people just laugh at that situation. They're like, yeah, man, okay. Most professional fighters outside of their profession don't walk around fighting people.
Yeah, they only fight people when they have to, if there's some sort of confrontation.
Even like high mixed martial arts dudes are so disciplined. When you're truly the guy that's confident in yourself and you know you can beat everybody's ass in that room, you're not acting like you're just a chilling guy.
Yeah, you don't need to. Because everyone knows you're going to kick their shit out of them.
It's the insecurity that makes people have that big bravado. Oh, I gotta fucking fight everybody. Andrew Tate's probably actually super insecure.
I'm not saying that you have to go out and fight. I'm just saying you have to be willing to back it up.
So every nerd in the fucking world, no matter if they're 100% right and justified, should be willing to fight a dude 18 times their size and die on their opinion?
If you believe in your opinion strong enough, yes.
So you're supposed to be a martyr?
Because you're going to get vindicated. Yeah, afterwards. Otherwise, what's the
Seems
point?
pretty
So
fucking
you're living
foolish,
by
man.
everyone else's life.
It seems pretty foolish. I'd rather be the smarter guy that survived than the guy that died because some brute fucking stomped my fucking head in.
Okay, well that's the thing. That's what. Then you don't get set apart, right? You just. It was mine. It's just a Wi-Fi thing. I'll figure it out. Hang on, there we go.
Like, bruh, people that act like that go to jail, and I am 100% okay with that.
Yeah.
So why are you, like, upping it like they should be running shit and beating people up?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying someone who is willing to back up what they believe in to the no limits is the bigger man, the bigger alpha.
If those limits are physical fighting.
That does not mean you're smarter, but that means you're the alpha by the naturalistic kingdom tendencies of animals, man. That is how it works for almost all species.
I would say the smarter person is the one who didn't physically get into a fight and used the system to put the other person in jail for the rest of their foreseeable life. I'm not saying that the
alphas are smarter.
I think that's an alpha move. I think you going to jail and making no money and me staying out here making millions of dollars is alpha.
When war comes to your door, do you want a bunch of alphas or do you want the smart betas? The smart betas ain't gonna do shit on the battlefield but get fucking murdered by the savage alphas that the other side is bringing.
See, I would fully disagree. You want to take the most savage fucking... I want to go with the United States, dog. Because that fucking nerd is going to go like this.
No.
And
dog.
Your whole shit's going to go boom, 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 boom. And I'm going to be like, okay, what's for dinner?
Dog, that is something that's happened over the last 50 fucking years.
Because those nerds...
For thousands of years, it doesn't matter. How many more savages were there?
Those betas that weren't out there going like this, were going and reading and fucking learning. So yeah, you know what? I do want the general. That's the most smart fucking general in the... How big was Hitler? We just did this last week. How big was Hitler? How big was Stalin? How big was Mussolini? How big was Napoleon? I will take the little beta with the fucking brain over big and brawn. Because that guy's going to use his fucking brain to outsmart all of you dumb fucks into beating the fucking pulp out of each other while he never even gets touched. Who's the real alpha?
I don't know. I mean, I think the generals that won the World War II were... savages. General Patton of the U.S. Army.
You know who was also a savage? You know who's also a savage?
Who?
I'm just blanking on his name. The guy we were just talking about. The fucking Jewish guy.
Oh, Shapiro?
Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro's a fucking savage, dog.
How?
Oh.
His brain.
Yeah,
because he hasn't had to lift a fucking finger, and he's made millions of dollars by just stirring up controversy with nothing but his brain.
Scammers and fraudsters.
That's Andrew Tate, a scammer and a fraudster.
I don't think
who
so.
Used to be good at
does he call your grandma and tell her that she has a virus in her computer and that she should send you $600 to make that virus disappear?
No, but selling someone a pyramid scheme, in my mind, is a scammer.
That's any
or a
personal
fraudster.
trainer and anything. That's the same fucking shit. You're selling your ideology.
I didn't say that they weren't. We're talking about him. You asked me if I think he's a fucking fraudster or a scamster. We just finished talking about his massive pyramid scheme. Do some people get success off that? Yes, sure. Do the vast majority of the people who pay this guy $50 a month achieve anywhere near that success? You know that's not true. Just like all the fucking pyramid schemes you see in the city, yes, there's people that win. Yes, they recruit people. Do the masses win? No. That's why it's a fucking pyramid scheme.
Hey, man, I'd rather
So
pay-
do I think Andrew Tate is a fucking fraudster and a scammer? Yes. Yes,
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
I
mean,
100% agree that.
University is much more scammy then because they'll charge you thousands of dollars instead of $50
You're getting
a
a
month. to do
much
the
better
same thing.
education. Any university,
That's questionable. That's
any
debatable.
university,
That's
I would
debatable.
love to show you, I would love for you to tell me the numbers of people that went to university
And then didn't
use
do
that,
anything with that education. That's
use
huge.
that to
Huge.
continue their career than people with Hustlers University from Andrew Tate. And you don't that doesn't necessarily apply that you went to school for A and went into a career for A. You could have went to school for A and learned management even though you were going to be a fucking chef, but learned that you liked managing people and then switched your career to becoming a manager of something. You still can credit your university career to that. Yes, there's no way people have benefited less from universities and colleges than they have from Andrew Tate and his fucking
And how
pyramid
much
scheme.
more money have they paid for that?
I don't give a
university?
fuck about that. More people have benefited than from Andrew Tate.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Because
I
at the
mean,
same time, how many people have paid? You can use countries like India, where the whole fucking university system is free, and you have a billion fucking doctors. They didn't pay fuck all and got a
yeah,
remarkable.
Germany has
education
a
out of it.
free post-secondary
There you
education
go.
system. I'm
So
fully
every
aware.
fucking German person who got
Yeah, all my
post-secondary
friends
is
have 2 or 3
dramatically
degrees,
dropping that
and the
rate
problem
down.
is everyone has 2 or 3 degrees, so it's just as difficult for you to find a job because every other person is exactly the same.
That doesn't matter. They still went there and learned things that they can use from their lives that I would say is way better than paying this guy for fucking Hustlers University.
100%.
And I'm saying there's a way bigger population that have benefited from this than from that. The
For
dude's
sure.
a scammer, man, that does say a lot of fly shit and he
know.
makes it sound good.
He's
That's
helped
cool.
a lot of people for free. You don't have to subscribe to his Hustlers University to gain
man.
knowledge from
Joey
his...
Diaz helps people for free on TikTok every day, too.
100%, yeah, definitely. That's why they're called influencers, because they influence other people, for good or for bad.
I wouldn't really call
Joey Diaz,
Joey
an
Diaz
influ-
an influencer, no.
How? Man, that guy has clips with millions of fucking views from Joe
Because I
Rogan
think you have to
podcast,
try
his
to
own
be an
podcast.
influencer where he just does him, and if it happens to influence people, that's cool.
If he's recording it and uploading it to the internet, he's not just doing him.
Well,
if
he's
he's
doing it
just
for
doing
money.
him, he's walking through a park talking to himself, and people are listening.
No.
If you were actively uploading it,
I
you're
didn't say
an
doing it
influencer.
for him. I think influencers actively try to be influencers, where Joey Diaz is a comedian who was shown podcasts way before they blew up and has been doing this shit for 10 years.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed whatsoever. He still does drugs. He still talks the exact same way he's going to talk. If you don't like it,
Yeah.
get fucked. I don't think influencers are really like he's
You
not
think every influencer is fake, is what you're saying?
not necessarily, but you don't see Joey Diaz going on other podcasts to promote his shit. You don't see him on Joe Rogan saying, "Tune into the church. You can see it here. You can see it there, cocksuckers." You don't see him doing none of that shit.
You don't need
You
to.
come to him and you like what he's putting out, or you don't. I feel influencers actively try to grow and push their influence on you, which I do not feel represents Joey Diaz whatsoever.
I get that he's not trying to grow his own social media. However, he's going on all the most influential podcasts and spreading all his knowledge or all of his stories and all of his
I mean, he goes on Joe
ideologies
Rogan.
all of those.
I don't know if he goes on all of the most. He goes on Joe Rogan.
I was surprised to see him on the Nelk Boys podcast like a week ago. Do you know who those are? Like,
Yeah,
the
I do know those guys.
I was- it was
I
such-
didn't know
he
he
went on
No, no,
Influencer
I'm not, and I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here. I
No.
looked on it on YouTube and I
That's
just
cool.
saw Rat and I
Yeah.
was like, what the fuck is
So
he
that's
doing
the same
over
thing.
there?
Just because you
I
don't,
don't
need
have
to,
a problem with devil's
you don't need to
advocates.
push your own platform to be an influencer. If you're an influencer on other people's platforms, you are an influencer because you are influencing other people.
Then every
That's-
single person on the planet's an influencer. Every single person on the
Yes.
planet has influenced somebody else.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, well then everybody is an influencer. What the fuck are we talking about? Everybody's a person too. That's cool.
yeah, but then there's famous. There's,
Influencer comes with a certain brand and a certain notoriety, and you're very well aware of that, Dan.
yeah, there's
I
famous
do- and-
influencers and there's not. But there's people I follow with 3 or 4,000 followers who post more motivational shit and more shit that influences me positively in a day than people with 10 plus million followers. That is a bigger influencer in my life than the 10 plus million follower. On a regular
And
scale,
see,
that's a bigger influencer, but the bigger influencer for me...
That person calls themselves an influencer. Lionel Messi's the most followed person on Instagram. Is he an influencer?
Is he?
Yeah.
How many does he have?
I don't know, but it's a lot.
No, I think Ronaldo is still.
No.
Google it.
How many is
Or
it?
maybe if he's not the most followed, he has the most liked picture. I think it's the most liked picture, sorry. He's got the most liked picture on
I thought that was the goal.
No, he beat the egg. The picture of him lifting the World Cup beat the egg.
I thought it was the picture of, what was it, the Golden Globes or something, whenever Ellen or whoever
Nah.
took a selfie with all those celebrities.
That was probably the one with
That's the most
people.
like tweet, maybe.
The most liked picture was the picture of the egg.
Ronaldo's got 527 million followers.
Okay, that's
and
bigger.
Messi's got 413.
Yeah, okay, so Ronaldo, it's the most liked picture.
I know
He has
there's
the
a
most
couple
liked
like
picture.
cricket
Even
players with
Ronaldo.
300 million followers and shit.
Ronaldo, I think Ronaldo would think of himself as an influencer. But someone like Messi or someone like, trying to think of another, Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler probably doesn't think he's an influencer. Does he influence people? Yes. He's probably got fucking, I don't know, some stupid number of millions of Instagram followers.
No, there's a
But
couple.
I don't think he's like, I do me. If you like it, that's cool. I'm not going out to try to influence you on you.
couple
And
of
I
these-
think that's the difference. 10 million for Adam Sandler? 15 million? There you go.
A couple of those small accounts that I follow, some of them would say they're influencers, but others are definitely not. They're just influencing me in how they're changing their own lives. They're not. They wouldn't consider themselves influencers, but they have influence over me because I've consumed the content that they're providing. But then again,
Yeah, that's
they're
just 'cause you
choosing
like
to
it.
upload that content. You know how rarely I fucking post anything on my social media.
Yeah.
And like that's because I'm not trying to influence people.
I don't post very much on my social media, which is probably not good, as we're trying to influence and grow a podcast.
Yeah, the only thing I post is shit like this. Yeah.
Oh, we're stupid. We're so fucking
So, see,
dumb.
me and Fred like to have these rants and heated discussions all the time. Usually not on camera, but now you guys get to join and see our crazy.
See what our
viewpoints.
friendship is based on?
Yeah, exactly.
You got a question for us over there? I'm sure we're getting pretty close to a time.
Yeah, we're getting there. I'll give you 2 hypotheticals and then we'll wrap it up, all right? Okay, would you rather hit a home run as a pitcher, get a touchdown as a lineman, like in the NFL, or get a goal as a goalie?
Goal as a goalie all day. They make for good clips.
How could a pitcher hit a home run?
Because
you're not pitching when you're batting,
and the-
right?
no,
like
no.
you're switching.
Only in the
sides.
one league.
in the
though, you're
American
right. Yeah,
League,
in the
pitchers
American League, yeah.
bat, and then in the
there's
National
pitch
League,
hitters.
there's a
Yeah.
The
designated.
designated hitter, sorry.
right.
Yeah,
Yep.
designated hitter.
So they're all kind of like the unicorns of their sport, but I think the home run as a pitcher is a little bit more common because there's that.
Yeah, if you play in the American League, or is it the American League for sure?
think so.
Well, whatever, whichever league it is. If you play in the league in baseball where you hit, you're going up to hit all the time. Albeit, I get you're not good at it, but like the chances for you to do that are there. So I don't think that's that crazy.
But I mean, as a goalie, you can always score a goal. Like there's there's penalties and everything else, right? Like my hometown team used to
other
have a
team's gotta
goalie
have
that was
their
our
goalie
designated
pulled.
penalty kicker.
Well, we're talking hockey. Were you talking hockey or?
hockey.
Yeah, he's talking hockey. He's talking hockey where the other net's empty and the goalie gets it and flicks it down the whole ice and it goes in.
Over top of
I
everybody.
don't, that's the German in me. instantly
Okay,
goes
yeah.
soccer.
In soccer, it's a little different. Yeah, goalies score a little bit more.
Run up the whole field and fucking.
There's some aggressive German goalkeepers
Sometimes
that
the
are playing
goalie
the
will
field.
be the guy that because if you get fouled in soccer, you don't have to take the penalty kick.
Anybody can.
Just the team gets it.
We've never taken a handball.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There is no circumstances to which a penalty kick will be awarded to a team in a soccer game where a certain player has to kick the ball, minus in the actual in the free game. Because if you go through sometimes you'll see goalies kicking in penalty shootouts because all 11 of the players have kicked, or all 10 of the players have kicked, so now the 2 goalies got to go kick. That happens very rarely in penalty shootouts, but it does happen. But there is instances of both a penalty getting awarded for a team, and the goalie, I think a lot of the time they just kind of do it for a joke when they're already up 3-0 in the last game of the season and shit like that. No, he just goes. It's a penalty kick. The play is dead.
Like I said, for my hometown team, for example,
Leverkusen?
our goalie used to be, I think, our designated penalty taker. And there's actually a really good clip of him taking a penalty mid-game, and then
Missing?
celebrating with the team as he's going back to his goal, and the other team does the kickoff and fucking lobs it right in the net, right?
Yeah. Because if you miss, you gotta turn and fucking book it. Like you gotta
Unless
run
the
the
ball
whole
goes out of
goddamn
play.
field. Unless the ball goes out of play,
yeah.
yeah. But if the goalie just like makes a decent save, buddy, you gotta get on your fucking
Yeah.
horse.
Big time.
For hockey, if you take penalties out of it, I guess you could include soccer because there is some rare times where it'll be like a 1-0 game and you need that 1 point and it's the 9. I know Alisson Becker, the Liverpool goalie, scored a legit goal. If not last season, the season before, where it was late in the game, they needed a goal and he went up and they crossed it in and he got his head on it and he legit scored a goal.
Nice.
As far as the linebacker though, or the hockey, it depends, man.
I feel like
Okay, I was just gonna say because if you're like fucking Brian Urlacher or something, you're fucking yoked. Then that's whatever. But if you're a lineman and you're like 300 pounds, 350 pounds, and you get a touchdown, and then you always see them, they need the oxygen mask on the bench. That's my favorite. It's like even if it's like a 15-yard run, they're always sitting there with the oxygen mask.
Oxygen mask and a bag of chips.
Right? I fucking love it. Marshawn Lynch asking if they want some Skittles. He just got the oxygen mask on. That's my favorite. You know what? Actually, fuck it. The hockey goalie's cool, but that one just because I'd have to go get the oxygen mask.
Oh, fuck.
And because it probably... Well,
I feel like the hockey goalie could probably score whenever they pull the goalie.
That's
I feel
the
like there's
thing,
a
yeah.
good chance that they can
I
just...
think Martin Brodeur has 2, if not 3 goals to his career. And I'm pretty sure they all... Yeah, like... They dump it in or whatever. It's
Yeah.
a shitty dump. They catch it. Usually it's a quick catch, drop, and then they'll just fucking flick it. And they just hope to get it over
Yeah, it's not an
everybody.
exact science.
There's a
and
couple
it's not
people with
guaranteed,
2 goals,
but-
yeah.
And one in the playoffs.
And one in the playoffs. That's a boy. Martin Brodeur was actually the shit, though. What's the other one you got? So I think the lineman, personally.
Okay, the other one I have is how much money would it take for you to not know how to read?
Oh, fuck.
Like read anything, a clock, a watch, anything.
Can you play video games still or not?
Well, I don't give it. If
'Cause you
you don't
can't
have
read
to
the
be.
UI,
Well, you
but,
could
like-
just guess at the option.
Yeah, I mean, you could, but you'd be playing like a 5th grader.
Yeah.
No, but like you,
Fifth graders
couldn't,
can fucking
yeah,
read.
A 5-year-old.
you couldn't read how much ammo you got in your mag or how much what the score is and stuff like that.
Yeah,
on the
like you have
team
no
and, like, how much
concept
time.
of time
I feel
or
like
numbers.
that's the least of your worries if I could play video games if I don't know how to read. I feel like
No,
just-
you asked me how much money. I'm gonna obviously go for a ridiculous amount and then just go do stupid shit with my life, like play video games for a living and shit.
No, but you wouldn't be able to even read the milk carton or the prices to see how
Yeah,
much
that's what I'm
things.
saying. I need to be like a billionaire so that I have enough people who can.
Yeah, but I'm just
fucking
saying your
babysit
first
me.
jump was to go to not being able to play video games, and I feel like that's the least important part of.
I think not being able
Nah,
to read
no, 'cause you
numbers
didn't
and
put
not
a
being
limit
able
on-
to read words is a lot different.
That's it's all encompassed in my would you rather.
I don't know, man. Having zero concept of time, of numbers, of anything, you'd literally just be like a...
Yeah, but you still don't understand really what that means. If you can't read, you can't learn about concepts properly. I mean, people could tell you, but like, it's really hard. You need to
'Cause
be
when he
an
said you
audio
wouldn't-
learner to really understand everything. Because if you're a visual learner, you're fucked because you can't write.
Well, when
and
he
draw
just
this
said,
shit
like,
down.
you can't read, you couldn't go to the milk carton and shit, like the store. There's people from other countries that'll go to a country and they're fluent in the language, but they can't read it. But they know what a fucking milk carton. You know what I mean? Like, eventually you would do those processes enough where you could just go buy milk.
For sure.
You'd have to be doing, like, the smell test, I
What's
guess, all
that?
the time.
What's that Adam Sandler movie where he's really rich and really dumb?
Mr. Deeds?
Is that it?
Yeah, Longfellow Deeds. Where his, like, great uncle or something dies and he moves to that big mansion. He goes
Yeah,
to use
yeah,
the
yeah.
water
And
fountain
Winona
and
Ryder's
it's
there?
Honey Punch.
Yeah.
Or it's Hawaiian Punch, sorry.
And then his butler's got a frostbite foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, I'd have to be, like, that level of rich, like, probably a billionaire where I have, like, maids and butlers.
Did you say
and everything.
billion with a B?
Yeah. To live like that, where I don't understand anything, just because, like...
No, you still understand things, dude.
But
Like, you
if
can
you've
still
never...
go to a place and be like, I want a chicken parm.
Yeah, I get that, but, like, understanding concepts and understanding things are, like... If you cannot read and you cannot decipher numbers, for you to learn concepts as a child, to become an adult, to get to that level, it's going to be tough, man. It's tough. Everything has to be audio. You have to learn everything by
You
somebody
know what's a
telling
better
you.
example? You're almost not Happy Gilmore. You're almost Billy Madison. You ever seen Billy Madison? The Adam Sandler movie?
Which one is that? Like I
The one where he's super rich, but he didn't do any of the school, so he's literally.
Yeah, that's what I'm
the
thinking
one you're
about.
talking
That's the
about.
only one. He used to go to grade 3 and shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, we thought you were talking about Mr. Deeds, where he's rich and he's getting ready to inherit a bunch of money.
No.
Because I had also, for some reason, in the question, I thought you were already a grown man. I didn't think about the concept of growing up like that. So yeah, it's more like Billy Madison, but is what you were trying to refer to, where he's literally an idiot. He's just rich as fuck.
Yeah.
And then as a grown man, he has to go back and do school. Yeah,
See,
okay, sorry.
that's what I'm saying.
You're talking about Billy Madison.
Sorry, I'm just terrible with movie titles and shit.
No, that's fine. So yeah, that would be true. Like he still knew like. That's actually a great example because remember he didn't even know what day it was. Someone just said like, "What day is it?" And he's like, "I don't know, February or whatever the guy says." And he's like, "Oh, it's Nudie Magazine
That's
Day."
what I was just gonna say. The only day he knew was Nudie
Nudie
Magazine.
Magazine Day. So like you would still have some concepts that were taught to you. They would just be like super basic. Like you wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to like
you have no concept of money and nothing like that. Like you wouldn't understand a lot of the things, right? You can ask for things and what you want and what you like. You're like a 5-year-old in that sense, right? Like you have a basic understanding of the basic vocabulary, but like for you to understand any sort of like major concept is like impossible.
I wouldn't say you would necessarily have a basic vocabulary. Like you would be pretty fluent in that language. You might not know how to spell the word, and if you saw it written down, but you'd still know what it meant and how to use it.
Dude, I work in the paving industry, and I actually know firsthand people that can't read and they talk normally the same way I talk.
Yeah, like by the time you became an
It's
adult,
just developed over time.
most of that, like the processes of just life would ingrain most of that in you. The thing would be going to a store, like you would just have to learn everything you like. You'd never be able to read a menu, right? Like when you sat down at a new restaurant, the person next to you would have to describe what the menu said to you. You wouldn't know what it was. You wouldn't be able to walk down the street.
How would you pay for things?
Because you have like $50 or $100 million.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, if you have to be rich, we're not gonna go do your own fucking shopping when you're that fucking rich. The shit's just gonna get done for you, or it's gonna get delivered to your house. You ain't going out. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I want to be that rich, so I wouldn't have to worry about any of that basic life bullshit. Because you need to have a certain knowledge to be accessing the system as a
The number
average
thing
man.
is what's fucking with me. Not just being able to read
That's what I'm
and
saying.
write.
The numbers, right? Like you don't
Read
know how
and
much
write
to
is
literally
whatever.
pay. You couldn't pay a bill because you don't know what the fucking bill is worth.
You could never set the clock. You could
Yeah,
never be
nothing.
on time for
Yeah.
anything. You would have no structure.
You'd have to have no
You
responsibilities.
would literally have to have an assistant.
Yeah.
That would assistant/accountant. So yeah, probably at least like 10 or 20 million. To answer your original question, at least probably double
See,
digit
10, 20
millions.
would be good if you could like invest it and compound on that interest and shit, but you don't know how to fucking do that. So I don't know. I'd need $1 billion at least. I need to be up there just so that I'm
Billions
really
way too
safe.
much.
'Cause someone's gonna fuck you because you don't know any better, right? Someone's gonna screw you. Someone's gonna take money out of your account because you
But
literally
Dan,
cannot.
you still could
check that
learn
shit.
better. You could still learn the concept of getting fucked over and shit like that.
100% you could learn that, but you're literally
So wait.
gonna call somebody up. What's my balance on my account today?
No,
and
but
then figure out what
you
the
could
difference
still-
is. And
you don't have to physically see the numbers to still learn the concept of people being like, this costs $1. A vehicle costs $70,000.
yes,
This is $100. This is $1,000. You would like it would just be like not being able to read or write. You could still learn the concepts without actually physically recognizing the numbers.
yes.
So you could still be like, no, this person's fucking me over. This person's got bad intentions. This person's this. This person's that.
You do realize
you just couldn't do the actual work yourself.
Yes, but you do realize how big, like, visual learning is as a of a component for you as a child, especially. Like, if you don't understand what the numbers or the words or whatever are up there, it's a lot harder for you to like. I know this because I took this shit in school to a degree, so I understand how much that impacts you and your development, especially in your early childhood years. It's tough to like tell you about how impactful that is, but it's not going to be as easy as that. Like, yes, you will learn things eventually, but you won't have as good of a concept of it. Like, you won't have the visual representation that you need.
I just feel billions way too much to be able to live like that.
And plus, like I said, I know people that I work with that can't
You
really
have too
read,
much
and they
money
still
for
know what beef jerky is, and they still know what a lemon is. Just because they didn't know how to read growing up doesn't mean they don't know the association with.
Yeah,
everything.
but I'm
so I
not
think
talking
that
about,
Fred said
like-
$1 billion is.
I'm talking about like the
That's
concepts
like if
you
you're-
learn later on in life.
I feel like you're equating
Physics,
not being-
chemistry.
Yeah, why do they need to know
space.
physics or chemistry?
You don't need to know that shit, but like, man, like,
I think you're
life is
equating not
boring
being
when
able to
you're-
read with being a complete idiot, and I think they're two separate things.
Yeah, Like, I know at least 2 people, maybe even at least for sure one that's happened in the last year or whatever, and he's like a successful dude. But the thing that's now kind of warping back is that he knows another language. So he does know how to read, just not where he currently lives right now.
Yeah, which will help with your development.
Developing to get there. As soon as you started to say that, it started to fuck back with me.
Yeah,
Because he did learn, he does know how to read, just, like, I know how to read. If I go to Italy, I don't know how to read, but I still, I understand what you're saying. I developed the knowledge based on reading.
Exactly. It doesn't impact people massively. You need to be specific learner type for you to do well without having the ability to read and shit like that. Like, it's otherwise there'll be a chunk missing always. There's a certain way that your brain won't develop, so your understanding of the same concept that everyone else knows is gonna always be different because you don't have that one side. You'd never have the ability to grasp that one angle, how to look at that situation. So you're always gonna be missing one slice of the pie. You're not gonna ever have that full rounded view that other people have that have the ability to read and understand stuff like that.
You need, like, everything presented to you.
Yeah, you're going to see everything. It's like as if you
have to be like, this is your money and this is how it's being
You're going to see
affected.
something in a different light than everybody else. It's like having a certain, like, visual impairment, essentially.
The people that you work with, they legit, their whole lives, they do not know how to read or write.
Well, a lot of people didn't finish school, or they stopped going to school and they were in elementary and shit, so they don't have a basic understanding.
But they have a basic understanding of
I said
language.
They don't have a basic understanding.
I know, he's saying they do.
But yeah, if they left in elementary, then they understand that, like,
so if they left
how something is structured, like the way that you read from left to right, like that makes a big difference in the way your brain develops, like, because that's how all
I'm just saying they're functional members
like
of society, and that just because you don't know how to read doesn't mean that you have to have some fucking.
Yeah, but they know numbers, dog. They don't go to a store and understand they're paying $100. They don't, and they're not just pulling out a random bill.
I think you're just taking it to a grandiose place where it does, like, someone's not going to walk into the store and be like, this is money, can you please do it for me? Like, they're going to pick up on that eventually. The green one's 20, the red one's 50, the brown one's 100.
Yeah, but if you don't know,
I think you're just making it into a mountain out of a molehill.
But then what he says, though, if they don't understand math, albeit I think they would be, for the most part, you're saying they go to a store and they give the guy at max.
Yeah, they're like, they're not.
Yeah. What you're saying is right, but what he's saying is
you never develop the concept to understand what that is. Like, if you take away the ability to see numbers now, you still have an understanding of what numbers are and how it works. But math is visual, man.
On
math,
a small
all in your
scale,
head is
that
almost
would
impossible
work for you because the person at 7-Eleven and all those people aren't trying to fuck you over. Someone would eventually probably figure out they could take advantage of you.
Probably, but someone could
you'd be
figure out they
giving
could
them
advantage of
100,
any of
and
us.
instead of getting 80 back like they're supposed to, they'd say, no, this red one's the one that you get back for that.
There's videos of people doing that where they're pretending to be blind and handing money to people.
Yeah, those people are blind, they're blind. It's just because you can't cognitively see that word says George Orwell, 1984. It doesn't mean that you can't function in society and you need someone holding your hand all day. I think you'll pick these things up eventually.
Yes. You will pick these things up eventually, but you will have a different understanding of that as a concept and view it differently as somebody else.
Yeah, but that wasn't the original question. Is do you want money or do you want to not know how to read?
Oh, what? I thought you said how much money would it take for you to not be able to read?
That is what I said.
Yeah, that's $1 billion.
That's way too much,
man.
I would literally be happy with 15,
like, Dan, what's the difference between 500 million and $1 billion? If you're the guy $500 million. If you're the guy that can't read, what's really the difference? Like, you're just picking like he said, a grandiose number. Maybe that's what you want, but that's not what you need to live without living like that. Yeah, maybe we can't say you're wrong. That's your opinion on how much money you would want, but that is a very, like, extrapolated number. Your quality of life, yes, of course, I understand it would change, vacations, what you own, but you could just as easily manage 50 million as $1 billion. You could afford all the same people, you could afford all the same services, unless you're trying to fucking have like 8,000 employees to manage your life, but that would just be so over the top. Like, you would need one assistant who a wife or one assistant, a secretary, your brother, whomever that you trust like a motherfucker, that they have your best intentions at heart. Are they gonna fuck you over a couple times? Yeah, but to the point where you have $50 million and now you have nothing? Yeah, okay, you can look at people like Dane Cook.
Yeah.
There's a couple athletes, yeah, but there's 100 instances where that didn't happen. There's 100 instances where brothers got into business and it worked.
Yeah, but
That's the celebrity story
if I'm a billionaire, I'm greatly reducing the risk of ending up with nothing. So I take that. But no, I'm a wise.
No, you're
listen,
not though, because the same person's gonna fuck you. They're gonna fuck you out of 45 billion. They're gonna fuck you out of 450 million.
Rather they fuck me 10% on a billion than 10% on 10 million.
Or if they're gonna fuck you, they're gonna fuck you, dog. Like they're gonna take it all. You're an idiot. You don't even know what's happening in your world.
Not dog. If you can milk a cow for 60 years at 10%, you end up with way more milk than milking a cow for 100%.
There's
over
no
5
cow
years.
that lives 60 years.
Now
man.
you're just
Just
now
kidding.
you're just saying how much money can I afford to be scammed off of for the rest of my life and be okay by the time I die.
Yeah, it's gonna happen to you. But
10% still 10%, dog.
Yeah, but if you have
When they take 10% from me 10 times and they take 10% from you 10 times, how much money do we both still have? 0. If you get scammed 10 times for 10% of your wealth by your brother, who's your assistant, and I get scammed 10 times for 10% of my wealth by my brother, who's my assistant.
Yes, that's not what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, okay, if we both get scammed 9 times, I have 10 million, you have 100 million? Like, is that the hair you're splitting?
no, like I'm saying, like if over each year, let's say you make off of your money, you make so much money. If they take 10% of that money, and 90% of your money is like still goes to you, I'd rather that be a larger number, because then even though yes I'm getting scammed a larger amount, but still getting 10% of a larger amount, I'm still ending up with more money, right? Like you
But
make
for what?
for what? It's not cheap. If you can't like read right, if you need someone to babysit you,
You
and
do
live
not need $1
comfortably-
billion.
And you don't need a babysitter.
But I'm a wise
Yeah,
person.
like you don't. You're not a vegetable, dog. Like you're not.
You
fucking-
can't work. What are you gonna work?
Why can't you?
Dog, the guy that I know that can't read or write has like $1 million company.
And I just told you I work with
But
guys
like,
that
he can't read or write, or he can't read or like.
writing's not part of it, just reading. But at the end of the
Same
day,
difference.
no, for sure. But at the end of the day, like fuck, it's just because you can't read doesn't mean you can't be part of. Like
How you
doesn't
gonna
mean you
take part
gotta
of
go
any
sit
orientation
in a
course?
corner.
How you gonna get certified for anything
You
you
have
need?
somebody help you.
Your assistant.
Boom.
Bro, if somebody out there has an H2S or a first aid certification and they can't read
And,
or
dude,
anything like that,
in what reality are we going to
are we
work?
living in? What society?
What reality are we going to work? We said 50 and 100 million. I'm not. What 50? Who's got $100 million and can't read and write and is going to work? I have $100 million.
But see,
You could
100
pay
million
somebody
is
to read
unreasonable
to
as
you.
$1 billion.
To read, you could literally pay someone to read
It's
for
10
you.
10 times less unreasonable. And I started with 50.
Yeah, but that's still that's so like.
And to be
if you-
honest,
if you're
that's
still-
probably even high.
If you only need
To be legit, unless you want to be a celebrity or living the best life, fuck, give me 5.
Nah, but see, I'm a why person. I need to know why. Like,
you want-
whenever something bugs me, I read up
Dan.
on shit. I want to know why. For me to not want to know why, I need $1 million to distract
You're
myself
picking
enough.
out the one situation where, you know what? It could be 1 million. If you find a partner who you legitimately trust, who's not gonna fuck you over, what do you need to read and write for? What do I? My girl's got it.
to learn. I
can-
want to understand why things are the way they are.
Well, so have someone
If someone
tell
else
you.
explains it
Dog,
to you.
you can still learn. Listen to an audiobook, bitch. Like,
And can I-
you can still learn.
Okay.
Can I explain? Just I'm not. This is not meant to be a talk down or anything. But do you know the difference between like how many days is 1,000,000 seconds versus how many days is 1,000,000,000 seconds?
Yeah, I know it's ridiculous. Like it's,
1,000,000 seconds is 11 days, and 1,000,000,000 seconds is 31 years.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're going up on such a grand scale, I don't think maybe you don't even know how much a billion really is, because that's a lot of money, man.
Yeah, like, and then again, we're not saying like you're a complete fucking vegetable. Like, there's a large portion of this albeit the crosshair of people that can't read or write and also have millions of dollars is,
Yeah, and the Venn diagram of all of them, the middle section is probably pretty fucking big.
if almost damn near non-existent. But do you really need $1 billion to just hire 5 people
If that.
that are all watching each other? A couple lawyers, a couple accountants, a couple people that you really trust and put on payroll. You need $1 billion for that? Like, it just that number just seems so outlandish.
Do you,
If he wants $1 billion, he can have $1 billion.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we can't say you're wrong. It's your answer, but like 10? Fuck, 5?
I don't know. I just get way too frustrated with not being able to understand 90% of the things that are around me. Like everything has
Dan,
writing on it.
You
and
can
numbers
still
on it.
understand things. If someone says, "Yo, this is how you roll a joint. You take this stuff, you put it in the grinder, you bust it, the weed comes out, you take a paper, you roll it, you can still learn.
I just think you can't read.
Doesn't mean I can't point at that and you know that's a fucking blanket.
And then I say, yo,
I
that's a
understand
blanket.
that. Like I just said, I'm a why man. I like to understand why things
For
are
sure,
happening
but
and
you
how
can
things
still
are
figure
happening.
that out,
You would
I
have
think.
no clue about why the world works the way it does properly.
Dog.
You couldn't
If you
research
had
that shit.
$50 million, you could literally pay a fucking tutor to teach you whatever you wanted. Go to Harvard, find a professor, and say, "Here's $1 million."
That's
you
if
are
your
on
brain
retainer.
works like that.
You are
If
on
you work
retainer
off
as
of-
my fucking person. You are my encyclopedia. Anything I want to know, I phone you. You explain everything to me. If you don't know, you fucking phone someone who does, and he tells me. You are my internet.
Not everything can be visually represented without numbers or writing, and like if you're not good as an auditory learner, then you're gonna be screwed. Like audio
So it
input
takes
is
you.
only as good.
Your give a fuck level is $1 billion. Because if I had $50 million and there was something that someone couldn't explain to me, I'd be like, sick. I'm gonna continue to live my $50 million life.
I know what I would blow $50 million on within a week.
Okay, now you're just being an idiot. Like that's on you.
No,
Yeah,
those
dog,
all
that's
things
just dumb.
I'd like.
You have 50. So could Dan. So could I'm gonna buy fucking 6 Bugattis and go on the world's sickest vacation ever and buy real estate and artwork from all over the world. Everyone can spend the money.
Yeah.
If you have $50 million and you're not getting more in, and you do that, you're an idiot.
And I feel like
Like,
if you can't read is irrelevant if you're gonna spend that much money at $50 million. If you can read or not, you're probably gonna spend it
Yeah.
anyways.
It doesn't. Not reading isn't the concept of why you blew $50 million in a week. You're just an idiot.
Well, no, I'm saying if I was a billionaire, I would spend $50 billion in a week. $50 million in
Okay,
a week.
that's how much money do you want
in
to
the
be able to
beginning.
live where you can fucking buy this and buy that and buy this? That.
Yeah. If I can't read or write, fuck that shit. I can't communicate with people unless it's in person or over the phone, or like a video call. You couldn't fucking write messages to people. You couldn't text people. You couldn't fucking email people. You couldn't go on
I got
social
$10
media.
million and I can't text anybody. The fuck?
Yeah, bro, life would be. No, but I'm just saying you don't understand how
Send voice
much
messages.
text impact. Like you don't realize how much stuff you wouldn't be able to do, or understand, or have fun with on a daily basis that you enjoy right now because they involve words and numbers.
But if I had $50 million, I'd be enjoying a whole bunch of other shit where I would not
But
give
you
a
can
fuck.
right now,
Exactly.
knowing how to read.
Fact.
Yeah. So why can't it be $1 billion? So I can really enjoy the stuff I really want to enjoy.
Just that number is just like, okay, whatever.
All right. So when you hit 50 million, you're gonna stop working hard and not go towards the billion, right?
Probably.
All right. Well, that's
Why do you think there's millions of millionaires and probably like 100 billionaires or whatever the fuck the fucking number is? Yeah.
You get satisfied.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is that's not.
Yeah. Okay.
You gotta keep going.
Yeah.
You gotta be Elon, dog. You gotta be Elon, dog.
If
gotta
you
start
really
them
wanted
all.
that down, you'd be working harder at becoming a millionaire now. If you were gonna work that fucking hard to become a billionaire, then.
Did I say that I was gonna?
No, but you're saying that that's how it should be. You said
know
if I got to 50, would I stop?
No, you're the
Yeah.
one that said you're gonna be more successful than either of us. What do
I
you
didn't
mean?
say that.
He said he could take each of us in a
I
fight.
said if it was a one-on-one fight between me or
Is it
either
because
of
I'm
you, I think
skinny
I
and
would
nerdy,
win.
or why?
And I just have more aggression.
I
I
think
just kind of
that's
think
true,
I would
too.
overpower you, to be
And
honest
yeah,
with you.
you're
And him,
probably-
I just think I would out-cardio.
You're probably willing
Yeah,
to
I'll
go to a
cardio, yeah,
further
100%.
length than I am.
I don't want to say like I'm some big tough guy and I think
No, I
I'm
just
going to
mean
win
you'll
lots
fight
of
30.
fights.
Yeah.
If I had to, for
That's
sure.
right, yeah.
For sure.
I'd feel bad after a while and be like, okay, man, let's talk about
Well,
this.
that's remember when the other situation happened. I was like, dude, I would have felt bad if that escalated into something
It
that even
wouldn't have.
remotely became physical.
But it
like-
wouldn't have because we're both adults. And
Oh no, I meant the other host back then.
oh, I thought. Okay,
yeah,
my
yeah,
bad.
no.
I thought you meant the little
I didn't even
conversation.
think anything close to that with you.
My
No. I didn't think that at all. I meant when the other guy said he could beat me in a fight, and I was like, bro.
No, he said he could choke you out.
I was like, dude.
Yeah, when he's sleeping, he could choke.
And like I said, I don't even think I'm a tough
No.
dude. I just think
Fighting's
I'm tougher
dumb.
than some people, and much less tough than other people.
No one should fight unless they're getting paid to do it, in my opinion.
Pretty much. I haven't been in a fight in like 10 years.
Me neither.
You really want to get paid to fight?
I said no one should.
No. But that's dangerous. No. But that's like
Yeah, we gotta wrap
promoting
this up.
serious harm to your health for money. Like,
Well, there's a reason that almost all fighters come from poor places because they didn't have enough choice, man. They were just good at fighting.
know,
there's
that's-
very
that's
seldom
terrible.
rich kids that go into boxing. Like, extremely low.
yeah, well, they go into boxing, but like not on a professional level. They just fucking. That's what they they do sparring and shit like that for their own
Yeah, I get,
knowledge and health and shit.
Get the fucking.
Hey,
headgear
boxing is
on.
a gentleman's sport, man. That's about as classy as it gets. Nah, that's a Tiger Woods sport, bro. That's for fucking other people's wives and cheating on them and shit. That's what that is. Nah, bro. Boxing is about owning your tigers and doing massive amounts of blow, like Mike Tyson. You know, that's what boxing is. Real gentleman's sport.
You know, him and Steve-O were roommates at a psych asylum.
Yeah.
And Steve-O was like, yeah, I didn't know if he like wanted me to tell people, but then Mike Tyson said it on a podcast, and Steve-O started talking about it, and they were on Mike Tyson's podcast, and he's like, what'd you think when I walked in? And Mike Tyson's like, you want to know the truth? He's like, I'd been in that place like 8 times. And he's like, finally a motherfucker I recognized. Apparently they just hung out together because they knew each other. Anyway, that's been another episode of 7 Days Makes 1 Week. Peace.